Welcome to the Bulletproof for BJJ podcast. It's Joey here, and today JT and I are lamenting over the results of the recent UFC event. Make sure you've got your Kleenex handy for this one. Hey, if you dig the show, we ask you to do one favor. Like, subscribe, and if you are listening on an audio platform, please give us a 5-star review. It's one little action for you that does a lot to help put our show out there so that more jiu-jitsu folks like yourself can find it. Appreciate it. UFC recap. What is it now? It's Thursday. We watched that shit on Sunday.
On the weekend, yeah. We got it late. Obviously early in the morning over in, the Middle East. And we are here in Australia, heartbroken. What can I tell you?
Today is a discussion. Really, it's lamentations.
It is.
Of fallen warriors.
And me, I just think about, okay, what's this mean for the UFC going forward?
Yeah,
so
now.
It's all over. My favorite guys are out. No, let's talk about it. Let's talk about Whittaker Chimaev.
So obviously, I would say that was probably the fight I was most excited. Anytime Rob Whittaker's fighting, most exciting.
Yeah,
match.
Yeah. Keen to see what happens.
Gangster for taking on Chimaev.
Yeah, no one wants to take that fight because they know how tough it's going to be.
And Chimaev f***ed him up,
bro. He shot from almost like the other side of the octagon. It was one of the longest shots.
It was ridiculous.
And he still, like, Rob sprawled a bit, but he was still able
to
catch the leg and bring him down. And the thing is, Rob is a good wrestler. Like, obviously not as good as Chimaev, but it's not like he's not a good wrestler and has, withstood many a takedown from, an elite level wrestler. And, Chimaev was almost on the back almost straight away.
Yeah, he was relentless in attacking the back, huh?
But then Rob got out, and I got a little bit hopeful. I was like, oh, Bobby Knuckles, let's go.
And then shoots again.
And then he reshot, and he kind of caught his foot and pulled him out. And he's like on him, and then almost mounts him, and then...
And I do think Rob was good, as in, like, he knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
And he was like, he was good enough to kind of defend the attempts and not let his back get fully taken and shit. Until it wasn't.
Well, Chimaev started almost like a reverse hammer, like getting him the backhand in the face, and then Rob kind of turns to defend, and then it was just fast. That's the thing.
Yeah, and you hear what it was afterwards. So Rob's he threw like a rough kind of left arm came around for a rear naked choke. Yeah. But it wasn't like cinched in deep or anything. It was just
on the teeth.
It was like a forearm over the mouth.
Yeah.
And I think he managed to... Did he even close the hand? Rob tapped...
Yeah. He put the arm behind, but he already had big power squeeze on it with one arm.
Yeah, and Rob kind of panic tapped.
Well,
it was a very quick tap.
It was a very quick tap. People said it was a panic tap, but it wasn't panic. He's like, my face is breaking.
Well, his teeth got pushed in.
Yeah.
His bottom teeth got folded back.
Yeah.
And apparently it's an injury he had, I don't know, some years ago.
Right.
And then it happened again in the Duplessis fight.
Oh.
And so it's been this thing where he's like, my teeth are f***ed. And so I think he felt the teeth go straight back, and he's like, it's over.
I mean, then it also dislocated his jaw, I believe.
No, I think his jaw's fine.
Okay, because his camp was saying his jaw popped. So maybe it partly dislocated, went back in. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. It was, I think, maybe. But like he did the interview and stuff after the fight, and he's like, no, I can talk. My teeth are just pushed back. And so now he's got to go get them fixed.
Poor fella.
So, that's the fight game, isn't it? It's like if they did that fight 10 times, there could be 10 different outcomes. Like, I was spewing because had it not been for that, Rob probably would have made it to the second round. Chimaev maybe would have had a bit of a heat taken out of. He's always got that, like he always kicks off really hard and fast.
I thought it would be more akin to when Dorino, Gilbert Burns fought Chimaev. I actually felt like because of Rob's boxing, I thought there's going to be some slugs going on here. There's going to be some hard hits,
Yeah.
And that just wasn't the case. And it's like pretty fast. Didn't get out of the first round. And it's difficult because I have so much respect for Rob, and I have this romantic idea of the comeback, that he could come back and fight for the title. And he's always very positive in his posts. Full credit to him, but I don't see a pathway back to the championship, unfortunately.
Yeah, I read a thing this morning that said like, you know, the most kind of the most realistic, probable like position for Rob now is to be the fraud check for people wanting to enter the top 5.
Right.
Where it's like, yeah, you get a title shot, you got to get through Rob. You know, and it's like, yeah, he's that guy.
But that's like,
oh yeah, he doesn't want to be that guy.
As a former champion,
Well, actually, I don't know that. He might not have a problem being that guy.
I mean, perhaps. I mean, I think the hardest thing is, and you've seen it many, many times, if you're a fan of the UFC, once somebody gets to the top and they have a number of title defenses, once they're off that kind of pedestal, they're kind of off the top of the mountain, almost impossible for a person to come back.
Yeah.
Because it is really a moment in time. It doesn't matter which champion it was. Maybe Cormier kind of, lost and came back, but that's because, John Jones was out of the picture and stuff like that. But it's very, very difficult for a champion
a former champ
to make the journey back. And he's had such a good run of form, it's kind of heartbreaking.
There's nothing that we can do to help you when you've got a savage bear on your back trying to choke your face off. This is a part of the game that you need to get better at. But what we can help you with is becoming strong and mobile so you can perform at your best on the mats or even in the cage. The Bulletproof for BJJ app has been designed to help people just like you build strength, build mobility, and do it in the shortest amount of time possible so that you can spend your time focusing on what you love, which is combat training. All you need to do is go to the App Store, search for Bulletproof for BJJ. You can start a 14-day free trial right now. No credit card details are required, and you can get coached by JT and myself as well as the Bulletproof team. We've got a selection of programs that are going to suit you no matter what scenario you are in or what level of training experience you have. Go to the App Store, download the app, and we'll see you on the inside. Apparently, and again, this is just an article I read online, so no basis in reality, but apparently no former champion has ever come back and reclaimed the championship after 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean...
And Rob just hit the 5-year mark.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, it's one of those things that possibly someone like, GSP, he came back, but he wasn't fighting welterweight.
There's a different chance.
Yeah, he popped in. He's like, how it going, middleweight?
Yeah, which if you can play that game right, the strategy piece.
But also, 10 title defenses or 9 title defenses, pretty hard to match.
You know what? Brendan Schaub actually had a good take.
Oh, imagine!
I know.
Brendan Schaub with a good take. Do tell.
I mean, I don't mind watching his content.
I do not.
If I'm honest, some of it
I detest Brendan Schaub. Suck a dick. Not you, him. Shout out, Brendan.
Yeah, I wouldn't suck Brendan's dick, I don't think. He made a good point about Khamzat's affiliation with the Chechen dictator,
right?
Kadyrov,
right?
Ramzan Kadyrov, I think.
Okay.
So he's a dictator. He rules with an iron fist.
Of course.
I think it's a very conservative country. I think that, I think it's not hard to find reports of horrible things that have been done to leftists or homosexuals or
just people in general.
Yeah, right. Like some bad shit that's gone on there. And like a lot of countries, like a lot of dictators or leaders like that, they use sports washing. You familiar with sports washing?
Talk to me.
Sports washing is like a way of basically polishing up your image internationally.
I've committed war crimes, but we have a great boxing team.
Exactly. Look at this. Look at this program. We bring our young athletes through, and look what we do for our people.
Yeah.
And and then they hold national events, and it's kind of
PR.
Was it that new golf tournament? What's the new golf tournament that was put on by the Saudis or whatever?
I never pay attention to anything related to golf, so I cannot help you.
But similar thing, right?
Yes.
Where it's like these countries that have, and I actually don't even know if it's Saudis, but countries that have done some bad shit, but they go, hey, look, world, we're putting on this amazing event. Come and enjoy. And
don't worry about the slavery or the thousands of people who died building this hotel.
Exactly.
Sports.
Yeah. Or you can eat buffet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
tax-free boxing dollars.
So like Khamzat is like super tight with him.
Yes.
Whether that's his choice or not, right? But so
they have his family.
Schaub was like, if he gets the title shot and then becomes the champ, you got the champ of the division who's like proxy to this
Dictator.
Yeah, hectic is just like, I don't know if that's a look that the UFC's going for. I mean, who knows?
Not, but it's probably similar, and I say this totally off piece, full respect to the champ. Who's the gentleman who just beat Leon? Not that long ago.
Who the
it was
Bilal,
Bilal, right? When he was out there with the Palestinian flag, did you see Dana White's face? And he's just like
Dana's like, we don't need this.
There's this shot where, credit to the champ. He's got his flag. He's saying his piece. And you get those shots of Dana over the shoulder and Dana just being like, I don't want this.
Yeah.
Like he's incredibly in tight with Trump and like very conservative. And, it's just funny to me that you create this platform and you try to control it as much as you can, but anything can happen, and that's why we love fight sports.
I mean, he'll do what he can to control the shit.
Yeah,
but still, at the end of the day, it can go any direction.
It can go any way you want. And no, it's funny. Next thing, not as funny, but maybe predictable. And I actually said this to Joe, not on the pod. We hadn't talked UFC recently. I said, you may recall, maybe a week ago, a little bit more, that I thought Topuria could end Max Holloway, like brain damage level, because Max can take a lot of hits. And I was concerned that, I love Max Holloway. So I say this in the name of me loving Max Holloway. But he has the ability to take a lot of damage. And we've seen that throughout his career. And remarkably, the man has bounced back. You think about how many hits he's taken in fights he's won and also in fights he's lost against, say, Volk, right? Yep. Eaten a lot of punches. And some of those fights, he wasn't super coherent post-fight, as you wouldn't be if you've got a super concussion and your brow split and your mouth pieced up. But man, he got TKO'd. It has never happened before.
Yeah, he's never been knocked out.
Brutal, dude. To watch
Topuria's got sledgehammers.
Dude, and he's so much smaller.
Yeah. Max looked like a different species.
Yeah.
Like the size difference, hey?
He looked like a avatar.
Yeah,
Like so tall, long. He was throwing those kicks. Like it was a pretty good fight because you're looking like this is range versus close, tight punches.
Yep.
He landed a bit.
Like Max had him like...
He landed like a really good right, and you saw Topuria eat it, and you're like, oh, maybe Max is going to put some damage on... Because of the range. You're like, how does Topuria get inside of that?
Yeah.
He did.
Oh, he really did. And because he looked... what did it happen in the third?
Towards the end of the third, I believe. Like right at the end.
So, yeah, I feel like maybe towards the back half of the second, Topuria looked a little bit lost. He's like... Max was really looking quite good.
Because he's throwing kicks. Like Max was throwing head kicks and body kicks and using length.
Yep. And you're like, holy shit. Like, yeah, Max could do this, right? And then Topuria just went Terminator mode.
Nah.
I feel like that, like, the youth, like Topuria, the fact that his career's shorter.
Yeah, very early.
He just has, like, extra bandwidth to, like, cop beatings.
Yeah.
I feel like that really plays into it at that part of the game.
And, I mean, I don't know, like this is a bit of a like fight mythology, but if you look at some of the great knockout artists throughout the history of MMA, Vanderlei Silva, Chuck Anderson,
Chuck Liddell,
sorry. I mean,
Chuck Anderson,
I love Chuck Anderson.
My favorite mythical fighter.
but guys who had notoriously strong chins, who would take just hits to the face. One particular fight where they would take a really bad knockout and then they had a glass jaw. Like
compromised.
Yeah, like such a brutal hit to the face. It's not hardwired a knockout, but then from then they did not have the same tolerance for just getting punched in the head.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this is what's happened to Max Holloway, but if you think of the accumulation of damage. And then now it's like, well, actually, no, you can get knocked out. That chin of yours, it's not what it was, or it shouldn't be a really strong part of your game to get hit in the head. I mean, don't get me wrong, full respect, Diaz brothers, they're volume punchers too, right? They would just punch the fuck out of you. But it's also because they can just take hits to the head all day, they're not looking so good now in terms of coherence, thinking, fighting. You know, like it is the darker side of fighting, and Max is such a lovely guy. Ladies and gentlemen, I was suffering on the weekend when I was watching the UFC because I saw my heroes fall. And you know what else makes you suffer? Dehydration. And we're in a war against dehydration. Our friend Sodi are our partner in this war against dehydration. They have made the optimum mix of sodium, potassium, and magnesium so that your muscles are absolutely filled with water, ready to go, and you can perform your best at BJJ. So when you go to Sodi, SODI.com.au, use the code Bulletproof15 to get 15% off so you can win the war against dehydration. Yeah,
So to that point, did you finish the McMahon doco on Netflix?
Almost.
Oh, wow.
Almost. Yeah.
Have you gotten to the bit, it's towards the end about CTE?
Yeah.
And it just, you know, like there was that one wrestler, right, who like killed his family.
Yeah,
killed
the
his
brain
sons
damage.
and his
Yeah,
wife.
it's super dark.
Awful. And it's like...
It's happened in boxing too.
Yeah.
Where like guy murders his wife, commits suicide, goes
kind of psychopathic.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing, right? It's happening in football, and the guy in the WWE who was a wrestler, right, who has a concussion and then decides to become like a neuroscientist, which is a pretty cool story.
Yeah.
But he's like, we are battling the NFL, we are battling the NHL, like all of these sports leagues are fighting us because they know what's coming. Which credit actually to WWE. He's like, they were the only organization to do something about it.
Yeah.
You know, whatever their intentions were, it's like they did something about it. But yeah, you can't help but like now that we know more about that, when you watch those.
I think we've known for a long time, like boxing, even back in like the late 80s and the 90s, they knew there's a lot of neurological damage going on with hits to the head.
That's true, but we didn't actually have we didn't have a name for it. We just knew that people got punch drunk. I don't think we knew that they potentially turned into homicidal maniacs.
No, I think it was pretty well studied. We didn't have as much science then, but we knew.
No, but this is if you watch that Will Smith film, Concussion, he about the doctor who discovers CTE.
I haven't.
He discovers it. He's like a Nigerian doctor in America, and he's looking at these football players and hearing these reports and doing autopsies, and he's like, and he discovers CTE. And so that was maybe in the last 20 years. Prior to that, it wasn't. We didn't know that the brain. We knew it took damage, but they didn't know that thing happened.
I'm going to say that's not necessarily the case. I mean, the film to decide, the brain damage which has been sustained by sporting athletes for years and years has been pretty well known. It's just that it doesn't serve any sporting organization to shine a light on that, you know?
No, that's right.
It's just, and I think we know how brutal fight sports are. That's why we really respect the commitment of a MMA athlete to just basically put their life out there for our entertainment. I mean, obviously their financial gain. But the hardest thing, folks, I think it was John Anik. I just heard it in the commentary where Topuria, finishes Max. It's never been done before. And he goes, and there he leaves in, behind him on the road, well behind him now, Max Holloway and former champion Alex Volkanovski. And I was like, fuck off. They promised him another fight. It's not behind him.
But not behind Volk.
Well, no, he was saying that Topuria has put these guys behind him.
Right.
Like well behind him. Like what challenge can there be for him now? And I'm like, Volk can still come back. Don't write him off.
Well, they're doing it, aren't they?
They are going to do it. Well, I mean, it was promised him in the contract, right? Because they were trying to say, oh, who else would you fight? And he's like, no one. I want to fight that guy.
Yeah.
Like I get another shot at it. Come on. So look, man, it's tough to think like you have different eras and it would be tough to swallow, but this is the nature of the things. Like everyone's talking about Topuria being this hybrid athlete of being so good at so many parts of the game that the Volk era is towards an end. Same thing, like Israel had his run, different champions have their run, and then it used to be kind of 10 years if you were like if we think about like Anderson Silva,
Yeah, it was because there's only like 2 events per year.
no, but no. They were fight. They were probably fighting two major fights a year. But what I'm saying is, like, it's still for you to stay champion over a 10-year period is remarkable, right? But there's eras, and you think Anderson Silva, or you think about GSP, or whoever it was, Mighty Mouse, whoever held the title for a long time. Now it's not. Almost no one holds a belt more than 5 years, 6 years. Like, it's shortening up.
Yeah.
It feels.
Yeah.
And so, is this the end of an era? Is this the start of a new era?
As in, what, end of the Volk era?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, fuck. It's I would be surprised if it wasn't.
Yeah.
You know, I think absolutely they have a rematch. I'm all in on Volk can do it.
100%.
But I think Topuria probably wins.
It's tough. You think he's got his number.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
And it's that same thing, right? Of like, Volk's kind of achieved everything.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, you want it. You want it. You probably cannot want it as bad as you wanted it back when you had never had it.
Yes.
And Topuria's getting it for the first time. And that's a hard, like, spirit to beat.
Yes.
Yeah, shit. I'm down for Volk. What I loved, you know, Volk has the Eating with Volk Instagram channel.
Yes.
And I think Topuria commented, like, when are you going to take me out for one of these meals? And Volk said, we'll do paella. And then Topuria's like, deal. I was like, yeah, that's cool. I like those guys.
Yeah, no, I think the thing is that, you know, Volk, if you've seen some of his old Volk ads where he's like selling tomato preserve at the market, he's like, come on, cash only. You know, he's playing like an older...
Old Masso.
Yeah. He's at the market.
Yeah.
And there's like Sharon next to him selling soaps. And she's like trying to regulate on him and stuff.
What's this?
It might be sports bet or, you know, but it's just him leaning into the idea.
Character.
Of him not being the champ anymore. Like, you might have seen it when he was doing like being the concreter. It's like, I used to be the champ, mate. And then the young fella's like, yeah, sure, buddy. He's like, the guy was huge. Yeah, it's Russian fella. And, you know, like, just...
Yeah, get the bricks.
Classic kind of talk that you hear, like, Australian... You don't know who you're talking to, right, if you're on a job site, but Volk leans in on him being an everyday guy. You know, and full respect to the man. He is very humble and so nice in that way. If you meet him, he's a cool guy.
Yeah, he looks like a legend. All right, there it is, folks. I guess we'll have to wait until the next UFC. We'll do another recap when there's like another banger to talk about.
Yeah, man. In the meantime, just go dry my tears.
Shit.
It is what it is.